dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You might be like, wow, this sounds a little bit different than your other videos, Nicole, but what's going on here? Well, I have a microphone. Don't ask me how I got it, but she's here and she's here to stay. Hopefully. Hi, hope you're doing well. Today, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have been feeling passionately about writing. I'm in a writer's group for like writing stories and stuff like that, or like really whatever we're writing about at the time. I would like every single person who lives near me to just like stop making sound, please and thank you. Writing's been on the mind, writing's been on the brain. But for me personally, writing's been on the brain since I was a young child, and writing very, very bad stories. Very bad stories. You don't... It was a decision. It definitely was one of those decisions that you make as a child that looking back on it, you just kind of go, you know what? Good for me. Good for me. I made a decision. Good for me. And now that I'm an adult, I still want to make the same decision as my child self, but now I have more anxiety and more fear of feeling shame and guilt, and therefore am bad at taking risks and doing things for myself that I desperately want to do. So fun. I love that for me. It's such a good time. And then I wrote stuff and now we're here. But yeah, I'm in this writing group and it's so great because it's so fun to be with people who are struggling exactly like I am with writer's block, except I think I have the most writer's block because I think I've written the least out of all of us, which sucks because I feel bad, but also it's like, I've been going through some stuff. Like, I got COVID, and then I had massive fatigue for like about 3 weeks after. Like, somebody I know, I was like on a Zoom call with them for a meeting for something, and I was telling them about my symptoms and stuff, and she was like, yeah, no, when I had COVID, I had fatigue for like a month afterwards, and I was like, oh, whoa, that's awful. And now I get it. She was not joking. She wasn't joking about the fatigue. The fatigue... The fatigue was the worst part, quite honestly, because, I was negative at that point. I was negative for COVID-19, and yet the fatigue fucking ruined me. Sorry, I probably shouldn't swear, but like, you know what, we're more than a minute into the video, and also I'm not monetized, because why would I be? I'm not monetized. I don't know why I'm worrying about swearing. That's very funny. It's just very funny to me. I don't know why. I love getting really close to the microphone and just going, hello, hello, hello. What if I made an ASMR channel? Would some of you guys watch that? If I just like start whispering. Oh, I'm so sorry. I probably should have done a trigger warning for that because some people do not Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say trigger warning lightly because like I have triggers, so like I totally get it. But also I probably should have done a warning about just like jumping into ASMR like that. I apologize. So let's get back to the fact of the matter at hand, which was the fact that like, okay, I was genuinely so ill prepared for the fatigue that I was going to like experience after getting COVID. Like, it was awful. It was so bad. And I'm so incredibly lucky that I only had mild cold symptoms. Like, I had some like weird feelings in my chest, like with my lungs and stuff like that. Like, it was weird. It was definitely the most casually miserable I've ever felt while having a cold. Because the thing is that like work was taken care of. I knew I was gonna be okay. It was the first time in my life I was ever actually able to relax while being sick, which I think is really sad because it was the first time in my life that I was sick while not in school and not having to worry about homework or like the fact that I didn't have a job and needed to like find a job in order to make money in order to stay alive and live in my apartment. Like, it was the first time where everything was taken care of and all I had to do was get better. And I think that is such a fascinating commentary on how sad our lives have gotten. I felt bad that I, was like missing work because, I love my job. I love my job very much, which is very funny because it's a very customer service-ish job, but like my coworkers are so wonderful that like it's a good time. We have a lot, it's such a good time. We have a lot of laughs. We have so many laughs. It's great. That is so incredibly rare, and I needed a win, so I'm really glad that I got that win, because if something was going to be stable, I'm so incredibly glad it's the thing that I get money from. So thank goodness for that. thank goodness for that. That being said, I started feeling a lot of guilt because of the fatigue that I had for the few weeks after I had recovered from COVID. Like, oh my gosh, I was not able to do anything. Like my nail polish lasagna video, I had wanted to put that out like 2 weeks after the project was over. I ended up putting it out like a month afterwards, and that made me so sad because, you know, the end of June was pretty rough, and for like a lot of reasons. A lot of stuff was going on, a lot of horrible stuff, like a lot of horrific stuff, a lot of stuff that was a long time coming, a lot of stuff that was very sudden. Yeah, it just made it worse, and I wasn't able to finish the video, and that made me really sad. I would like these people to stop running up the steps. Like, who is this? But yeah, June was a really rough month, and I think that's sad. I just so badly wanted to, you know, get a win in by uploading a YouTube video finally, and then it didn't happen. It did not happen because fatigue is a thing and I was dying. But yeah, I did end up uploading the video, and I'm glad that like the few people who saw it really enjoyed it, and thank goodness, because I was really nervous about that video. I was nervous about that video because I put a lot of thought into it and I don't think it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, but nothing I do is ever going to come out like exactly the way I want it to, because, you know, that's just not how life works. I'm a big old perfectionist. I'm a big old perfectionist and procrastinator. Like, I feel like I've had this discussion before. I'm the biggest procrastinator. I am so incredibly good at writing too much, too fast, because I put it off. Sometimes, out of that, though, you get some good one-liners, and I'm so incredibly proud of the work that I did in college, but I really wish that I could have done a lot more than what I did, because the thing is that wasn't my best. That was fever dream best. It was stress best, and I think that if I had actually put time and effort into my work in college, I probably would have done way better and would have felt proud of myself for what I had done, because I'm proud of myself for managing to finish college, because it was getting a little concerning towards the end there, what with doing a pandemic year and struggling through the repercussions of that and having classes mostly online and things like that. Like, it was really rough, but I got it done and I finished it, and I graduated, and I wrote like 50 pages in 3 days. It was bad. Don't do that. Sorry, ASMR warning. But yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time in college. I just wish I had gotten more out of it than I actually did, because I was struggling with so much. Everything going on in my life really hindered my ability to actually like learn anything in college, and I think that's frustrating, because as much as I learned a lot, I could have learned and retained even more if I hadn't been struggling. And if I had actually been taking care of myself. You know what I did in college? When I got home, when I got back to my dorm, I would sit in my chair and I would pull out my laptop and I would play Sudoku while listening to Spotify, because it was the only way I could get my brain to calm down. I still do that. It's not that it was awful, it was that it was sad that was what I needed to do in order to get my brain to place itself somewhere. Like, that sucks. That really sucks. I had to dissociate to Spotify and Sudoku.com. Like, right? Sudoku.com? Yeah, Sudoku.com. Shout out to Sudoku.com. I am that person who has been on your website for like hours on end. It's me. It is me. I don't know if anybody else is doing that, but if there's several people, I would like you to know that one of them is in fact me. College was so frustrating because I wanted so badly to do all of this good work, but then mental health is such a bitch. Mental health is so rude to me. My brain, my poor brain. I try so hard, but then my poor brain says no, and then my body says no COVID, and then my body says no fatigue, and fatigue all the way until the cows go home. Like, oh baby, life is rough. Life is so rough, and I wish it could be better, but sometimes it's just not going to be. Sometimes things are gonna suck before they get better. Let me tell you about what you're looking at right now. You are looking at a paper mosaic that I made right before I did the recording and stuff for the nail polish lasagna video. I don't know how much I tell you about the process of making these paper mosaics, but when I go into the paper projects that I do, I don't know what I'm making when I start them, ever. I just kind of start cutting up pieces of paper and I go where my heart leads me. So when I started cutting up the big pieces of the green paper, I was kind of like, oh, maybe this could be a hill, maybe this could be something like that. And so I started creating like a little shape, and that turned into the hill. And then I was like, oh, it's gonna be a landscape. I mean, it usually is landscapes, because I'm a sucker for a good landscape piece. I love landscape pieces. I have a couple of like art pieces in my room at my parents' house that like I can't have here at my apartment yet. Most of my art that I get is like landscape pieces. So I love it. I love a good forest. I love a good field. I love a good house in the distance next to a frozen over pond with people ice skating on it. Classic. I don't know. I'm a big sucker for landscape art, so that's what I went for with this. And I had to think through the idea of making the forest below, so I tried to work with the different shades and hues of green that I had, the shades and hues that I had for, you know, the sky, because I realized, oh, I haven't really properly pulled off a sunset before, and so I really wanted to do a sunset. And I think it turned out really good. I'm really proud of this one. It took a bit of time. It took maybe 2 or 3 sessions. I can't really remember. It's been a long time since I did this. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I think it looks good. I think it's a good little landscape piece. But yeah, it's like a mountain with just a bunch of forest below it and a beautiful sunset in the background. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Man, I have no clue what I talked about in this video. I know I talked about me just mixed struggling. Wow. Okay, so this video is not cohesive. It is not coherent. That's okay, because here's the deal, neither am I. And I've 100% said this before, but when I am telling you a story, or if I'm telling you any information at all, whenever I talk, it's like handing you a blank map, a pen, and expecting you to be able to draw whatever I'm describing to you, where everything is, like exactly based off of what I'm telling you, when in reality, you're just gonna get like a couple of scribbles and like a cartoon animal out of it. And quite honestly, I think nothing sums up the consistency of my brain matter more than that. So I think I am doing my best, and I think that's what matters. Yeah. Okay, well, good talk, I guess. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I think I said I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think I did. But yeah, I really do hope you're doing well. I hope you have a good week. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.